Thank you. Next week.
Tracy and Jennifer, you ready? Commissioners, Terry and Sue, you ready? Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the May 7th, 2024 Albany County Commissioners Wind Festival meeting agenda. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Rivera.
Here.
Commissioner Gosar also here. If you would stand and join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, the public hearing, amendments to the plating and subdivision resolution fencing standards. Entertain a motion to open that public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, that public hearing is open. Entertain any comments for or against in the room for the amendments to the plating and subdivision resolution, the fencing standards. How about online? Anybody like to make an online comment about the fencing standards? Last call in person and online. I entertain a motion, commissioners, to close that public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
That motion carries. Next, I'd like to entertain a motion to open public hearing for the Albany County Planning Department fee schedule.
So moved.
We open the public hearing for the Albany County Planning Department fee schedule.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
I entertain any comments that you had in the gallery here, and then we'll go online for the fee schedule. Not online. Last call in person and online. Commissioners, entertain a motion to close that public hearing.
So moved. We close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Item 4, comments from the public. If you'd like to make a comment, please come to the lectern, and if you just give us your name. If you're not from Albany County, please tell us where you're from. But if we don't hear anything from you, we'll expect you from Albany County. Anybody like to make a public comment? All right, how about online? Last chance for public comment in person and online. Commissioners, entertain a motion to close the public comment.
I move that we close the public comment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 5 is disclosures. Commissioner Jones, any disclosures?
Not today, I don't believe.
Commissioner Rivera, any disclosures?
I have none.
And I have none also. Item 6, considerations of changes on the agenda. Kayla, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Can I remove item number 43? I talked to the city clerk last night, and she's only got 4 counselors that can make that date for the STIP project that YDOT does. So we're going to have to probably look at different dates. So I'm going to remove that off of there and hopefully bring it back sooner than later to set that work session. So
Thank you, Kayla. Any other change?
I have a item I'd like to add to the agenda if possible.
yeah, here you go.
Sheriff, we can barely hear you.
I have a item I'd like to add to the agenda if possible.
Okay. And I think you handed us that information. Is that the packet that you handed to us?
Yes, I did. It's for the purchase of equipment to be used to implement a digital ticketing program for the Albany County Sheriff's Office.
What's the equipment used for?
Digital ticketing system.
Okay, I couldn't understand what he was saying. Okay.
And Sheriff, we're going to put you at 16A. You have a block of stuff there for that work, Kayla.
Mhm.
The digital ticketing at 16A. Anything else? All right. Item 7, approval of the consent agenda. Commissioners, entertain a motion on however your pleasure today.
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. That moves us to the second page, the regular agenda, item 8, discuss allocating funds in the 2024-2025 budget for the wayfinding project. Thanks, Kayla.
Good morning. I was contacted by Commissioner Jones. She was contacted by somebody regarding the wayfinding project. So I guess I'm just putting it out there. The county has already allocated. We donate our we gave $2,500 to the project in 2021. But with working on the budget right now, as we are, I thought I would put it out there if you guys want to have a discussion about whether or not the county would like to allocate funds this budget for the wayfinding project. As you all know, Philip came and spoke. It's been a few months now when he came and spoke about the wayfinding project, and I know that they're still in need, excuse me, of funding. I think they have $230,000 left to raise, or that's what it was last time when he came. I don't know if that has changed now. So I'm assuming that the city or the county does not want to allocate $230,000, but just maybe to have a discussion about what you guys would look at if you would like to allocate funding or not. And then Tracy and I can build that into the budget for this next budget year. So.
Kayla, do you remember the ask?
They didn't have.
They didn't really ask.
And my recollection on that was like, there had been some discussion, but I've sat on so many meetings with Pilot Hill for years and years now. My suggestion would be 10,000. That's a place to start.
Okay.
Okay, so Tracy and I'll just build 10,000 and we'll put it, I'm not sure what was taken out of last time, but we could build into 1% or something. And we'll build that in, and then we can also look at, once we're in the thick of budget, as to whether or not, if you guys want to allocate more or not, but we can build in 10,000 if that's all right then.
And I think it's really important that we participate because of Pilot Hill. Okay.
Thank you, Kayla. Item 9, present for approval, proposed rules for the Albany County Property Tax Refund Program. Direct the clerk to advertise the proposed rules and set a public hearing for June 28th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning. Before you are the changed rules because legislature this year changed the statutes around the property tax refund program for the state and the county program. So we are adapting to those statute changes. So the big changes are from the previous year's rules is that the income level is going from 125% of the median income to 145%. And let's see, the application deadline for the county program will be on or before the second Monday in October. Of course, this is a holiday, so we still kept the holiday clause in there because we're here, we're close to the public as an in-house work day. Second, or the next big change is that they created tiers for how much of a refund can be returned to the person. So if a person's gross income is 125% or less of the median income, they should get 100% of the maximum refund. If their gross income is 145% or less of the gross median income, they would get 65% of the maximum refund calculated in this section. The final change that was made through this year's legislature was it on G of section 6, letter G, the Department of Audit, upon the request of a county treasurer or the Department of Revenue, may conduct a review of the distributed property tax refund under this program for compliance with the requirements set forth in these rules. This was instated because in some counties there were, I believe, some abuse of the program where they owned more assets than were allowable, and there was no mechanism for that to go back and be checked or reviewed. So that's what that is for. Just to give you the medians, for our county. The 125% of the income would be $71,125. And 145% of the median gross income in our county would be $82,505. And the median property tax, half of the median property tax would be $1,062.55. And happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Tracy. Commissioners, any questions? And Tracy, just to make sure that this is counted, the median income of the county, is that correct? Not of the
Correct,
state?
yes. The state, even though our county is lower than the state for the state program uses that higher amount for the state program, even with for our residents.
Okay. But our county refund uses our
Our
county
county,
median
correct.
income.
Yes.
Gonna cause you guys any trouble with using two different median incomes?
No, I have Brianna in my office who's an Excel genius, and she has, last year she created the worksheet to calculate everything, and this is just adding, I think, a column or two, but she can handle that easily. She's very good at Excel.
Thank you. And maybe either you or Chelsea online. Is there a way to notify people in their property taxes about the program? Is that something that is being anticipated?
We might be able to have that potential to do so. The property tax bills usually go out around mid-September, and that due date is going to probably be about 2 weeks. So if they don't get their tax bill in time, Chelsea's already sent out her assessment notices, so that window is closed. We do have a list of people that through our town halls that we had in January that express interest in that we will either call them directly, email them, or send them the application in the mail, whatever their preferred contact method was. We do also are keeping a list of everybody who's applied for the state program that looks like they'll qualify for the county program as it is written in these rules right now, and we will mail them applications directly. And also the people who applied last year, will mail them an application directly to them. And then we're going to use all of our friends and resources that we can to try and get the word out there, but I don't know that the tax bills are going to be timely enough solution.
Okay, good, thank you. And then you just give us a little ballpark figure on what property taxes mean to county operations. And
Just a ballpark.
yeah, but well, a
Um,
percentage of our income that's derived from property taxes here.
Our property taxes are at least 35 to 40% of our county general fund operating budget. The next biggest one being PILT, which is like 1.6 million or so. And I don't have exact numbers because I wasn't anticipating that question, Pete, but
Yeah.
it is a good chunk of our county government, which goes towards, law enforcement, road and bridge, all the roads, elections, tax collection. I know nobody wants to fund a tax collector, but here I am.
Yeah.
So you got to do it.
Yeah. But I think it's a different conversation, right, between us and Campbell County, for instance. They're less than 2%, is my understanding, of their budget comes from property taxes.
Or the residential property
Yeah.
tax, correct. We are mostly residential property tax. I think the last percentage, and Chelsea could correct me if I'm wrong, was about 68% of our property taxes collected are residential. Mineral is a very small amount. We have 12 mineral accounts between sand, gravel, limestone, oil and gas, and I think we have a couple gold accounts, but not very much mineral in our county. Yeah, unless that rare earth thing, I don't know where that exactly is located, but maybe that works.
Well, I have to tell you, I really do appreciate your work, your staff's work, Kayla's work, her staff's work, Chelsea's work and their staff, and then the county attorney's office. We were one of a few handful of counties last year that had a property tax refund program.
One of
so
5 counties.
One of 5 counties. That's, I wish there had been more, but maybe there'll be more now. So.
Yeah, a lot of the other ones are, mineral heavy, and it's, something they can easily afford to do compared to us. But I really think it's important to be able to give back to the people who need it the most. And you'll notice that the public hearing date also coincides with your budget approval date. So you'll be approving hopefully these rules as they stand, or with minor changes, and the budget for this program, which will help us get that notice out sooner, starting July 1.
The people can go to the county website and comment on these rules. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Any other things? I entertain a motion for item 9, please.
I move that we approve the proposed rules for the Albany County Property Tax Refund Program and direct the clerk to advertise the proposed rules and set a public hearing until June 28th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Tracy. Present item 10 for approval, receipt and distribution of U.S. Forest Reserve funds based on the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act of 2000 for the fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $288,846.58 after sequestration for Title I, and direct the clerk to advertise Title III funds in the amount of $23,787.37 after sequestration for proposed authorized county projects. Tracy, please.
Good morning again, commissioners. Before you we have received our Forest Reserve funds, and this is our distribution. I've included a worksheet that shows all the calculations, including the amount of the sequestration for Title I, Title II, which we don't receive. That goes to the RAC, which don't ask me what that acronym stands for. I don't remember. But and then Title III. And in this box over here, on Title III, that's how historically we have just shared the money between the fire warden and the sheriff. That doesn't by no means mean that's what the projects after advertising will come in. There might be additional places for the money to go that you may want to look at, but historically that's what it has been.
Commissioners, any questions from Tracy? I entertain a motion for 10 then, please.
I move that we approve item 10 as presented.
And direct.
Oh, and direct the clerk to advertise Title III funds in the amount of $23,787.37 after sequestration proposed authorized county projects.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate it. 11, present for consideration the restated Albany County Employee Handbook and set a public hearing for June 28th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. and direct the clerk to advertise. June 28th is going to be a big meeting.
It is going to be a big meeting.
Awesome, Anissa.
Some good
Please.
work happening.
Yeah.
Good morning, Chairman Gosar, Commissioners. Before you is the restated and amended employee handbook for your consideration. With a great deal of help from Matt and Jennifer in the attorney's office, we have put together a handbook that will clarify policies for both employees and supervisors, as well as adding policies from the policies and procedures manual that pertain to employment. I've presented the revision and proposed amendments to the elected officials and department heads on April 15th and incorporated any suggestions and comments that they had into the revisions before you. So I believe you've all been given a copy of the handbook. There are several sections where we made some significant changes or additions that I'm happy to go over if that's what the commission chooses, or I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Anissa. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah. Anissa, did you get quite a bit of pushback on the pet issue?
We got a little bit, yeah. So it is what it is. We've incorporated those changes so that if an supervisor, employee, or elected official brings in a pet, they'll have to sign a release similar to what we provide at the fairgrounds, so that they're liable for any damages or injuries that occur.
And this is pets beyond the service.
Correct. And we'll also make the owners of any service animals have that same liability.
Any other questions? Not, I'd entertain a motion for 11, please.
I move that we present, or that we accept the consideration of the Albany County Employee Handbook and set a public hearing for June 28th at 9:30 a.m. and direct clerk to advertise.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anissa. 12, award invitation to bid on 2023 or newer side-by-side and trailer to Elway Power Sports of Laramie and present for approval purchase agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming by and through the Albany County Fire Warden and Elway Power Sports of Laramie for purchase of a side-by-side and trailer. Chad, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. We received 2 bids for this project. After there was 3 of us that did a ranking on it and evaluated those 3 bids. After having done so, we determined that the piece of equipment from Elway Power Sports would best meet our needs, and we are recommending that we purchase that. The funds, if you're referring back to agenda item 10, our Forest Service Title III funds, that's what we'll be utilizing for this project. Not the stuff that is coming, but the stuff we've received in the past.
Thank you, Chad. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, Chad, just one, and it doesn't really matter, not much, but you said there were 3 bids. I only saw
No,
2.
2. I'm sorry,
two.
if I misspoke.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 12, please.
I move that we award the invitation to bid for the newer side-by-side and trailer to Elway Power Sports and present approval and approve the purchase agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and through the Albany County Fire Warden and Elway Power Sports of Laramie.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. 13, award invitation to bid for the replacement and installation of LED lighting at the Albany County Detention Center between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Fremont Electric, Inc., and authorize the chair to sign the contract. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning. We had 2 bids for the LED lighting project at Albany County Detention Center. One from Primary Electric and one from Fremont Electric. And the low bid came out to Fremont Electric. So we're asking those to accept that bid and then sign the contract for Fremont Electric to do the work at the Albany County Detention Center.
Thank you, Sheriff. Commissioners, any questions? I'm super excited about it, right? Between $4,000 and $5,000 in electricity every month
Yeah.
at the detention center. This will reduce that cost significantly. And also the cost to continue to change light bulbs and bulbs. So I'd entertain a motion for item 13.
I move that we award the bid for the replacement installation of LED lighting at the Albany County Detention Center between the Board of Commissioners, Albany County, Wyoming, and Fremont Electric, and authorize the chair to sign the contract.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 14, present for approval, cooperative law enforcement operation and financial plan between Albany County and the United States Forest Service. Sheriff.
This is our yearly contract that we have with the Forest Service for Forest Service patrols in both sides of our county. So I believe it comes out to $19,600 for our agency to do those patrols. So it's a 1-year contract agreement, as always, through the United States Forest Service.
Commissioners, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion for 14, please.
I move that we approve item 14 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 15, present for approval, purchase of police equipment to upfit 5 purchased patrol vehicles.
Yes, in front of you should be the quote from Bearcom to upfit our vehicles. You guys are seeing this just because the price to upfit those vehicles has increased, and now it's met our threshold to bring it in front of the commission there as well. So sole source lettering is included in that not that contract, but that quote as well, since we go through Bearcoms to get our state contracted radio equipment installed in all of the patrol vehicles.
Thank you, Sheriff. Commissioners, any questions? Not, I entertain a motion for item 15, please.
I move that we approve item 15 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 16, present for approval, application for transportation, utility systems, telecommunications, and facilities on federal lands and property for the Jelp Communications Site. Kate?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is an application for the Bureau of Land Management
to take over as site manager for the Gillum Communications site. There's no cost associated with it.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? I'd entertain a motion for 16 then, please.
I move that we approve item 16 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
16A, implementation for a digital ticketing system. And Sheriff, please.
Yes, we have special purpose tax money that's set aside to purchase equipment for a digital ticketing system in there. Received the quote yesterday. And so what you're seeing in front of you is the purchase of that equipment. Our records management system, which is controlled by Tyler, between us and the city, is pushing down that upgrade for the digital ticketing system for our agency in the next couple months. And so we're moving forward to purchasing the equipment for that to outfit all of our vehicles and streamline that process. So that's what you have in front of you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
So what will we see as a change in the ticketing?
So instead of us writing out by hand, and then having to transfer those documents to different places, depending on the outcome, whether that be through the jail, our office, the courts. Essentially what we'll be able to do is streamline that process electronically and give a copy to the public. They'll be able to go online and take a look at their ticket as well. It'll automatically be transferred onto the courts also. So this system is already being utilized by the Wyoming Highway Patrol, also here in Albany County. So essentially we're just jumping on board and trying to streamline that process, make it easier for not only the public to access that information, but for us to get that information to the court system as well.
So Aaron, what exactly will that violator be given?
Just like a receipt, essentially, like you would get
Printed
from the
out
store.
ticket.
Yep,
Okay.
on there, but they'll still be able to access everything online and take a look at it. So the example we usually give is, let's say somebody's traveling through, they don't necessarily live in Albany County. They get a simple traffic citation. Instead of, getting that paper copy and then have to deal with mail and court system that way, everything's online. So if they wanted to pay their citation or, figure out some other way to deal with that issue, they'll be able to do all of that online.
It makes it nicer too, because everything's printed, so you don't have interpretation of handwriting issues, or when you get the carbon copies, if it wasn't pushed hard, it's hard to read.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Entertain a motion for 16A, please.
I move that we approve the purchase of equipment used to implement digital ticketing system.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 17, present for approval. Thank you, Sheriff. The high intensity drug trafficking area funding between the Wyoming Division of Criminal Investigation and the Albany County Sheriff's Office from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, in the amount of $75,931, and direct the sheriff to sign. Good morning, Bailey.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is just our annual HIDA agreement that we have with the state of Wyoming. It doesn't quite pay for an entire position in the sheriff's office, but it does help pay for one of them.
Thank you, Bailey. Commissioners, any questions? Entertain a motion for 17, please.
I move that we approve item 17. And direct, and direct the sheriff to sign.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Bailey. 18, present for approval the request for proposal for purchase and delivery of replacement culverts for the Pioneer Canal on Meebor Road, subject to the specifications within the invitation to bid documents, and direct the clerk to advertise. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is on Meebor Road, which goes to one of the fishing reservoirs. So we're working with the Game and Fish on this. It's kind of nice to be able to work with agencies. So anyway, for us, we were to purchased the culverts, and Game and Fish will put them in for us. So it's just an RFP to get the culverts, or what is it, maybe a arch pipe or something like that, whatever in the bid proposal. I think there was 4 different proposals they could use. So I guess that's when we get that, then we'll about see forward on replacing those culverts.
How many of them are there?
There's 3 pretty large culverts in there right now, and they're starting to show some signs of rust and deterioration. So,
Good, I'm glad we're getting this fixed.
yep.
So long do those take to replace? I mean, you're not during the fishing season.
It shouldn't take. We're gonna have to wait till this fall when they're not doing any irrigating, right? Yeah, I mean when the canal's dry. But I would anticipate it shouldn't take more than 4 or 5 days at the most.
Any other questions? Not entertain a motion for item 18, please.
I move that we approve the RFP for the purchase and delivery replacement of the culverts for the Pioneer Canal on Meadow Road and direct the clerk to advertise.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you, Rob. 19, present for consideration amendments to the Albany County Planning and Subdivision Resolution pertaining to fencing standards. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. So these amendments were brought to you back in March. Put out for 45 days, and we didn't receive any public comments. So just a reminder, these came from statutory mandates to require fencing for new subdivisions, and planning and zoning work to draft wildlife friendly standards with those. So that's where these come from. So the Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended the approval of the amendments to the Albany County Planning and Subdivision Resolution concerning fencing.
Thank you, Joe. Commissioners, any questions? Not entertain a motion for 19, please.
I move that we approve item 19 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. 20, present for consideration. Thank you, Joe. The amended fee schedule for the Albany County Planning Department. David, good morning.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So the last significant update to the fee schedule for the Albany County Planning Department was in 2017. The Planning Department would like to make some adjustments with permit fees and clean up the document a bit. What is being requested are amendments to the fee schedule that would include amending some of the zoning certificate and other permit terminology to be consistent with what we have on our application, what's online. So those are pretty minor. No fees or changes for the zoning certificate portion. We'd also like to amend the fee for wastewater permits, increasing that from $325 to $350. An amendment to the fee for the floodplain development permit, increase that from $300 to $350. Change the mobile home park license late fee from $100 to $100 per month. We'd also, that's what was published. There's a couple of other changes, minor changes we'd like to make as well. One being to the sign permit fees. We would like to change it just to all sign applications be $100 instead of having $50 for on-premise and off-premise would be $100. And then there's like a $2 per square foot fee. We just want to go a flat 100, which is shown in the packet that you have. And then the other change would be to the wastewater late fee. There's a wastewater late fee of $200. It's just the verbiage where it's under water and wastewater applications. We just wanted to say $200 late fee for the construction of a small wastewater treatment facility. Instead of what it says now, which is $200 late fee for constructing prior to permit approval. We just want to make sure it's specific to that permit. And that's it. So we would ask for your approval of this if that's the way you would like to go. So
Thank you, David. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion for 20.
I move that we approve item 20 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Motion carries. 21% for consideration, request to renew the Lucky Star Wind Project permit WECS 01-19 for 5 years from the expiration of the permit. David, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, first I'll start off this item and the second item for the Two Rivers Wind Project are exactly the same request. It came on the same letter from Blue Earth Renewables. So I'm just gonna go through this once, and if you're okay with it, you can just do whatever you do to the second one as well.
Okay.
And to give you an idea, both of these projects were permitted over 4.5 years ago. And so the projects will expire in July, I believe, July 16th, it looks like. And they're both north of Laramie. You get to the Bosler area, and that's where the Lucky Star project starts on the west side of 30, and then it kind of follows up. And then Two Rivers is also up there. It's actually above Rock River, right in that vicinity. So that's where the two projects are. A wastewater permit may be renewed by the Board of County Commissioners for an additional 5-year period. The standards required for the renewal of the WEX permit are found in the Albany County Zoning Resolution, Chapter 4, Section 12, F6. There are 2 reasons the Board of County Commissioners can review or renew a WEX permit. First, if work on the project has substantially commenced, and then the second, the applicant provides evidence that the project continues to be viable and the delays based on project management or coordination issues that will be resolved in the near future. So the applicant provided a letter, and their justification was that they're currently working with the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, to secure right-of-way permits. They'll be submitting an application to Carbon County for a conditional use permit. They have completed permits with the Industrial Siting Council, continued coordination with United States Fish and Wildlife Service on voluntary eagle incidental take permits. They've completed additional cultural and biological surveys and received permits from Albany County for 2 additional Met towers to continue to hone the design of the project. So it appears that they're continuing to move forward. I think they do meet that second criteria. They're coordinating with other agencies to get all the proper permitting for, right of ways and those types of things with BLM, and then also the permit from Carbon County, because the part of the project goes into that county as well. So staff recommends that this permit be approved with a new expiration date of July 16th, 2021.
Thank you, David. Commissioners, any questions?
Do we know if Carbon County approved this?
They have not. They're going through the process, or they're going to submit another permit for conditional use for this. It's my understanding that they did go to Carbon County at one point, but there was some problems with the application, so it didn't get approved. So they're going back, but I don't know if there's anybody here from Wind folks that can talk about that, but that's my understanding from what I've gleaned from past newspaper articles and things around the same time we approved ours.
Thank you. Is there anybody from Blue Earth here in the crowd today? All right. Questions? Any other questions for David? Do you have any idea? And you don't have to have an idea.
Sure.
I was hopeful somebody from Blue Earth would be here. If they don't get the permit from Carbon County, is this project dead, or what? Do you have any idea about that at all, David?
I don't. I know the majority of the Lucky Star project is in our county. So I'm not sure if it would kill the project if that was not approved or not. I don't know. I mean, it's something I could follow up on and get back to you if you're interested.
I think it would be worth finding out where Carbon County is on this, because I think it'd be nice if we were all on the same page.
Okay. So we could table this. If you'd like, if that's your
Yeah,
pleasure.
I think so.
And would you also like that for the second one, or would you like to continue to hear that one, separate of this one?
Without extension, be the same date. 5 years, so it'd be in
Yeah, so
2029.
Yeah, so both of these projects, they were applied for at the same time by the same company. That for whatever reason, they split them into two projects, and so they went through the same process, were approved the same date.
So is all of one in Albany County or is some of each in both counties?
Oh, I can't quite remember, so I would have to look.
Yes.
Point of clarification, are you looking to put this on the June 28th agenda, or is this to approve the permits today?
Well, we would probably table it probably sooner than June 28th would be my guess on it is.
My guess would be we table it for the next meeting.
Meeting,
Correct.
right, that
Yeah.
would be my intention.
Thank you.
You bet.
Just till you get the information from
Commissioners, is
And
that,
if we knew, if everything was, if like, Lucky Star, is that right? Yeah, is all in Albany County. If we knew that, we could go forward with that one or not. But we don't know that today.
I think they're split across.
I think they go across both
Honestly, I
both
think
county
both of them are
lines.
split across both.
So,
Yeah,
okay. So
Split.
you want to move that? we,
Yeah, I move that we table both item 21 and 22 until we have further information on how Carbon County is standing on these extensions.
I'll ask the other questions as well.
moved and seconded, any further discussion?
Oh, we need the date. When we're gonna
To
table
May
it.
21st.
To the May
meeting.
21st.
That would be the
Table
second.
it to the May 21st.
Any further discussion? David, maybe Blue Earth would be in their best interest to come here either in person or online if we have additional questions.
Sure,
between now
I'll
and then.
make that invitation.
Thank you, appreciate
Mhm.
it. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, tabling both item 21 and 22 until the May 21st meeting. 23, present for approval. Thank you, David and Joe. Submittal of the Safe Streets for All funding application in the amount not to exceed $1,400,000 for the federal fiscal year 2024. Bailey, good morning.
Good morning. Let's see. So this is a new application we're submitting. It's actually a partnership with the city. I believe I brought this to you months ago just to get your opinion on what you would like. So now this is the actual application. The total project itself is $1.4 million. That includes this safety plan that the feds are highly suggesting these days, and then a speed study. Of that 1.4 million, 280,000 of it will be match. I have a text into Brady at this point because I couldn't remember if we were going to do a 50-50 match with the city or split that match with the city, or if we were going to go with more of a 60-40, which is what the funds really would go towards, is more 40% is more towards county roads, 60% is more towards city roads. At the most, it'd be $150,000 out of match. I was verifying with Rob on where we were going to take that out of, and it is still up for discussion. We were hoping maybe we could do some sort of split with the road fund, right, Rob? And then, and spec. So, right? Okay.
And then discuss some with Tracy too.
Oh yeah, and then some with just the general fund, so coming out of the grant match, which I would put in here soon. But yeah, 150 max, which that would be. Questions?
Thank you. Commissioners? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 23.
I move that we approve item 23 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Bailey. 24, present for approval the request for proposals for construction services for the Pilot Hill Trailhead and direct the clerk to advertise. Sarah, good morning. Come on up, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. On behalf of Pilot Hill Board of Directors, we just thank you for making this consideration. As you may recall, we received a grant earlier this year for $1 million to help us build the primary trailhead for the Pilot Hill recreation area. We had hired a designer prior to that. The plans are completed and have been approved by the city of Laramie. It will be within city boundaries. The site plan is approved and we're now ready to go out for construction bids. So we're here to ask for your approval of that. I do have a show and tell I can share with you if you're curious about what the trailhead is going to look like, but that's at your pleasure.
And that's what you showed us before as far as the structure, what it would all include.
We showed you the basic side, the basic diagrams, etc. The finalized plan I have as well, if you're curious about it.
Thanks, Sarah.
Not unless there's a major change on it.
There are no major changes.
I move that we approve, let's say I lost my place here, item 24 and direct the clerk to advertise.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. 25, present for approval, award acceptance and adjusted budget allocations for the Wyoming Department of Agriculture 2024 Wyoming Emergency Insect Management Grant in the amount of $72,495. Bailey, please.
So, we received our mosquito award again. It is about 10,000 less than we received last year. For the life of me, I cannot understand what they want in their application because every time we give them what they are asking for. But with that cut, I did present to you my recommendation of how you guys would like to distribute those funds with the districts. What I'm suggesting or recommending for you is $39,720 to Big Laramie, $222,992 to Little Laramie, $7,361 to Rock River, $777 to Public Health, $696 to Weed and Pest, and $949 to the administrative fees of the grants office. Those are the way I calculated those was the percentage based off what they received last year, plus the percentage what they received or what they requested this year. So it gives a nice little equation. With this also, I'm requesting that a 30% match of what I've just recommended to Big Laramie, which is $11,916, and then $6,897.60 to Little. This grant also requires that we do the monitoring of it. We do pay the city to do that for us, and I had worked out with the city that it's $6,589. That needs to come out of our match as well. That cannot come from the grant. So that'll be showing up in my grant match this year. Any questions?
Thank you, Bailey.
Mhm.
Commissioners, any questions? Not
Maybe
any.
they want us to eat the mosquitoes.
Well, they give us a nice little template and we score really high and then we get cut in funding. So I just don't get it. So
Entertain a motion for 25 then.
I move that we approve item 25 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Present for approval, item 26, agreement between Albany County Public Health and Wyoming Department of Health in the amount of $10,000, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for county health officer support in preparedness and response. Thanks, Bailey.
this goes to help pay the county health officer. So it just split up over the four or over every month.
Commissioners, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion for 26, please.
I move that we approve item 26 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I have one question.
Sure.
It requires matching funds.
Which one? Oh, this one.
Uh-huh.
Yes, just a little. I would have to double check with Amanda, but
But it can be in kind as opposed to cash.
this one I do not believe requires or allows in kind. The next item does allow in kind if we need it.
Any further questions? I would moved and seconded that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 27, present for approval, agreement between Albany County Public Health and Wyoming Department of Health Public Health Division, the amount of $83,000 even for July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for public health emergency preparedness and response capability. Thanks, David.
This grant pays for our public health response coordinator. Unfortunately, we did receive a cut this year of $7,000. It looks like it's not the first grant and won't be the last from the state this year. So unfortunately, all that we have funding for this year is the salary benefits of the position. It does not include the health insurance. The county has always picked up the health insurance for that to be the match for that grant. Mandatory travel, phones, and a storage unit. That's it. That's all we can cover out of that grant this year. So just so you're well aware.
Thank you, Bailey.
Mhm.
Commissioners, any questions? Entertain a motion for 27 then, please.
I move that we approve item 27 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 28, present for approval funding from Wyoming Department of Health pursuant to Wyoming Statute 9-24-104 for the purpose of funding county health programs to prevent and treat gambling behavior in the amount of $29,700.05.
So last year was the first year we received these gambling dollars, and we're receiving them again. Andrew is the one who's been spending those dollars. What he likes to do is advertise at university football games, university basketball games, take advantage of what we have in the community. So I believe that's on his agenda this year. I don't know. Here, no. I believe that's what he has on his agenda this year.
Commissioners, any questions for Bailey?
Betty, do you know if we've used all those funds?
I don't think we've used quite all those funds, but we're definitely close.
No further questions. I entertain a motion for 28, please.
We approve item 28 is presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, Bailey. 29, present for approval rental lease agreement by and between Nishad LLC and the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, by and through the Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program, office space located at 1050 North 3rd Street, Unit A, Suites A1 and A2 for a 3-year lease agreement commencing on August 12th, 2024 at $4,400 per month, and authorize the Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program Director to sign. Heather, good morning.
Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. We have been looking at office space. The space that the commission had considered back in December fell through last month and created a situation that I needed to look for new office space. We did find this office space. It is approximately 4,400 square feet. The rent listed includes utilities and all maintenance, and is somewhere that we would have room to grow, as well as operate our juvenile program out of there. We are able to receive that funding for federal grant application later this year. So we're looking to move in August.
Thank you. Other commissioners, any questions?
Yes. No questions. I just wanted to comment that I had the opportunity to tour this building with Heather, and it's wonderful. It doesn't require anything. It's really in good condition. Paint job is all wonderful.
Zero construction. Yes, Adam came and looked at it, and we are good to go IT wise. So
Does the distance from the courthouse have concerns for you?
it is closer than we are now and not crossing a highway.
Okay.
And so it's further than we would like, but it is much closer and easier to find.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
No further questions. I entertain a motion for 29, please.
I move that we approve this rental lease agreement and authorize the treatment program director to sign.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you for being nimble on another. If we're doing the research, I know it's been a kind of a pain for quite some time. 30, present for approval, master subscription agreement for DIMS for 12 months of case management software in the amount of $12,000 and $6,000 for adult CST, $4,000 for diversion, $2,000 for IJTP, and $1,000 for training of software for a total of $13,000, and authorize the Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program Director to sign. Heather, please.
Hi, Commissioners. This, per our state requirements for our court supervised treatment programs, we are required to use a state-provided case management or data management system. The contract with the prior company ended with the state in May of last year. And the state has been working with a company out of Cheyenne to build a custom data management program. It is still, as of this minute, being revamped, things added, things changed. I'm still not able to pull reports that I need for grant applications, for data, for updates to the commissioners. So this case management company, I went out and I got some quotes, and this case management system would cover all of our programs individually. We would be able to plug in specific phase requirements for each of our programs to include the adult diversion and juvenile. It gives us another communication option with participants. It has a lot of things that we will be able to utilize in addition to really excellent data collection and reports. So I would like to have this as our primary data management. We are in talks with the company in Cheyenne if they will interface with this company. If not, we'll require a little bit of double data entry to hit the requirements for the state. But I think in the long run, this will be a much more solid case management data management system that will have accurate, up-to-date data.
Thank you, Heather. Commissioners, any questions?
Heather, will the training be on site or online?
It will be online. The company will break it up into separate sessions. It'll be at coordinator level, director level, and then for each staff. So each program will get trained individually since those will look different. And then they will follow up as needed. This will provide training throughout the entire time with them. The big thing with this program as well is if we, for whatever reason, decided to not renew, we would have access to the data for a year after contract expired. So we would then be able to collaborate that, put it in spreadsheets. Whereas the one last year when the state stopped, we didn't have that. It was supposed to be integrated into the new system, and it is sketchy at best.
And is your idea that you'll do this as long as it takes for the state system to be beta tested, and then once it's ready to go, you'll get to the state system? Okay.
Yes, hopefully a stopgap. And my hope is that they will agree to interface. We're in talks right now. Maybe they can see what works and what doesn't.
Thank you, Heather. Any other questions, commissioners? Entertain a motion for item 30, please.
I move that we approve this master subscription agreement for DIMS for 12 months and authorize the Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program Director to sign.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
That motion carries. 31, discussion of the longevity of the integrated juvenile treatment court program and loss of funding of the case manager position. Heather, please.
Thank you, commissioners. And I'm sure I did not go about this the right way. So I apologize up front if there's something else I should have done. But with the issue with the office space, that has created a little bit of a conundrum for funding. Of course, we have match funds that is paying for rent from the county, which we're very grateful for, as none of our federal funds can cover that. With our OJJDP, our big federal grant for our juvenile program, expires in September. The new grant just came out last month, and they're only awarding 3 programs nationwide. They're only awarding 3 awards. I sat down with Bailey and Brady, and we did work out a budget. And then we have 2 separate programs we're looking to fund. The state program for juvenile participants, which we requested spots for 7 participants. And then the federal program, we've requested 10 participants. However, the case manager position is entirely funded out of the grant, the federal grant. So if we are not awarded the federal grant this year with only 3 options, I don't know what our chances are, but then we lose our case management position, which in no affects personnel for the county. I would also note that the funds that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So if we lose the case management and we get the 7 spots for participants from the state, we are not going to be able to provide case management services for the juveniles. We do have a pretty good team right now with DFS and treatment and everybody. But with us potentially losing that funding and not having the funds for a case manager position, I do not know what the longevity of our juvenile program looks like. Because I certainly cannot provide case management for 7 juveniles. So I just wanted to throw it out there for discussion. And I know that I freaked out over the office space, all of that good stuff. But really, it just came down to trying to integrate office space in the courthouse or somewhere else for staffings of the juvenile program. It's just been a battle. For the last year, we don't really have a home. We're bounced around every week. From staffings to courtrooms to having any place set, because we're balancing circuit court, district court, available space here. The new office space does alleviate some of that concern for me because it has a very large conference room that we would be able to hold staffing and court there for juvenile. So now my main concern would be if we do not get the federal grant, then we lose that position.
Thank you, Heather. Commissioners, any questions? Heather, what's the cost of the case manager position all in, like health and benefits and that included?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it full-time or part-time position?
It's full-time. We have been able to utilize her in more than just case management. She got SOAR certified through SAMHSA and the state, so she can help families apply for Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. And so we've really been utilizing that position for a whole family wraparound. And I think it was 90 with benefits.
Yep. For the first year of the grant, we were putting in $90,169.82. That does cover the employee plus spouse health insurance. Now, if she were to take a full family, that would be more.
And we're in a funky spot with the state. They just are switching over to the judicial branch for our applications for our state funding. And this is the first year they're doing it, but they're doing it for 2 years. Otherwise, I would say we could ask for more spots. If we don't get the federal grant, we could ask for more spots next year. Could help a little bit, but we are looking at 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And just as what we've seen historically with the state grant, they like our juvenile program, but they don't love our juvenile program. They usually give us consistently the same spots every year. They don't give us any more. We can ask for it. Just so you guys are aware.
Yeah. And I would say countrywide, there has been a downturn of some of the juvenile treatment programs. One of the programs up north, where it was deciding if they were going to apply for funding to continue because they were operating not off of how the Supreme Court is changing our entrance requirements to come into the program. We're fine with all of that stuff, but it's just a weird spot right now with those.
So where do you see it going?
I see our numbers in the last 2 years, we have absolutely increased, and we have been able to, I think last year, not counting from the last probably 3 or 4 months, we were able to serve 10 individual participants plus their families. And that was a big upturn from, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, we were at 2 or 3 participants. And so we've been able to triple All of the work that we've done with the CJSB board, the county attorney's office with, we brought on a guardian at Lytton. We have a very, very solid team here. I don't see it going away here. I just don't know long-term federal wise what that will look like. I will note that some of the changes that we've made over the last 2 years by adding in the empowerment program in our reentry program. So working with youth that kind of need too many services for the diversion through Big Brothers Big Sisters, but not quite our juvenile treatment court. We've been able to have quite a few of our youth in that program, and that has been good. And we just had our first kiddo come out of a residential treatment several months ago into our reentry program, and we were able to provide those wraparound services. She just graduated and has been a year clean off of meth. So having those two programs sets us apart from a lot of the other ones that are out there. So we have a very solid application and stuff that we've been doing here to set us apart. So I feel comfortable with that. I just have no idea. We have our conference in June, and I'll be able to get a national conference, a better idea of kind of where things stand. But I know in state, it's been interesting.
If you had the money, Heather, for case management services, would you recommend continuing the juvenile treatment program?
Absolutely.
And how many slots would you have? 7?
We would have 7 funded through the state, yes. And that's just at one time. I would anticipate our numbers would be much higher than that with as consistent referrals. We have 7 right now, so that's not even counting everybody who's completed and then the referrals that are coming in.
Heather, when is the grant due?
The grant is due May 28th.
So you wouldn't have that added information from the conference till.
I would not. And so I've been working on, and Karen has been working on, that's been my life for the last week or so, is getting all of that together in the data but would absolutely continue. I think that we have built a really good program. I think that we have, and again, some of that is the data stuff because I don't have a whole bunch of it, but we do have data that came from Big Brothers Big Sisters just 2 months ago at the last CJSB meeting that indicated the changes we've made over the last 1.5 years. It's showing signs of success. Screening kids and getting them in the right level of supervision and treatment. Then we're serving the right population at the right level. And that's coming from Big Brothers Big Sisters.
So just my understanding is you are thinking about still submitting the federal form, and you will know in September.
Yes. We absolutely will submit, yes, the grant application.
Okay. So I think there's money available. I know that the hospital, I don't want to speak for them, but I know that they have to engage in the community as a nonprofit entity that is part of not paying taxes. And I know they have some money that might be put towards this. And so reaching out to them would be a really opportune way. If this doesn't work out, maybe we could split the cost of the case management with them. I think that would be a wonderful use of their money. So but I'm not there. So
the brainstorming, absolutely, because I'm at a complete loss. And I thank you very much for listening to me, and I will absolutely keep updated.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
It's a little bit more smooth sailing from here on out.
Oh, knock on wood, right? Thank you.
32, present for approval, quote from CW-G for the purchase of printers in the amount not to exceed $11,995.10. Adam, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. For use a quote under the state contract for the purchase of 23 printers and accompanying secondary sheet trays, as well as the needed specs for the 2 micro printers associated with print checking. So it's a combo. We batched in all of the printing needs. This will retire all of the frontline printers out of the offices. We're kind of trying to get ahead of what we had going kind of last year, where we had to retire out a lot of the large form factor or printers that couldn't be serviced. So the current ones are still serviceable. There's still parts produced, but we're gonna get ahead of it. We're gonna move those out of the front lines, put in new units on the front lines, and the ones that are getting retired down will go out into elections distribution. So we'll have essentially a large workload of spare part sets to continue that work carrying forward, and then better quality and faster print sets for the infrastructure associated with printing, which ends up being a heavy infrastructure set associated with our frontline work, which would be the treasurer's office and the clerk's office.
Commissioners, any questions? Sydney, should we do what your dad thinks we should do?
We have our integrated IT intern today, my daughter Sydney.
Starting a work program early.
She gets a chance to see local government at work. So I thought today would be a great day, and why not? She wanted to go to work with me, so here she is.
Awesome. I entertain a motion for 32. There are no questions.
I move that we approve item 32 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Sydney.
Come back
33,
and see us, Sydney.
33, present for approval, request for proposal for custodial services for 3 Albany County buildings and direct the clerk to advertise. Anthony, good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. So the annex building, public health and road and bridge, I'd like to put out for bid for custodial services. I think the contracts we have now are up at the end of June. And I've added some language to the scope of work to better suit the cleaning of public health. Right now, we're cleaning it 3 days a week, and I think it needs to be cleaned 5 days a week with sanitizing. And we started purchasing chemicals that are better suited for bloodborne pathogens and things like that. But in talking with the contracts we have now, they're going to have to increase their prices quite a bit. And I think it's just more beneficial to put it out for bid and see what we have in the community.
Commissioners, any questions for Anthony? I guess I think I remember in the past, we've had some problems getting somebody to bid on all 3 of them. Would this anticipate that people could pick and choose 1 or 2?
Yeah, it's written in there that
Yeah.
they can bid all of them or each building, whichever of the buildings.
Okay, super. Entertain a motion for 33 then, please.
I move that we approve item 33 as presented and direct the clerk to advertise. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Anthony, thank you for your work on public health. I know that was a heavy lift. It's an unfun project, but it's nice to have it back up and operational. 34, present for discussion and approval, commercial lease agreement between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming and Disruptive Med Tech LLC for the remainder of the 3821 Beach Street. Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. So you have in your packet a lease agreement that has some red lines. And on your cover sheet, we asked or pointed out that there were some questions that DMTI wanted to bring up with regard to the start date, the generator, the repair of the water damage on the 2nd floor, the option to renew, and then a purchase price adjustment for economic benefit. And then last night I emailed you some language that was proposed by DMTI's attorney, Jason Tangeman, who is here. Do you have any questions for me before you talk to DMTI? Do you want to talk to DMTI first?
I just have a question for you. Why are we paying utilities?
That is how it was written initially. And so that has to continue through this existing lease because their option to rent the rest of this building is a provision within that existing lease. That is something that could be changed for any renewal going forward.
Thank you. Sure, come on up, please. Good morning.
Hi, Commissioners. How you doing? Good morning. My name is Keith Hamilton. I'm one of the founders of DMTI, and I get the pleasure of telling you a little bit about what we do and why it's so important that we keep this location at Beach Street and some of the improvements we'd like to make to it, as well as in the future, we'd like to even consider purchasing it. So Disruptive MedTech started right here in Laramie, Wyoming, in the basement of the Wyoming Technology Center of 2020. So for 4 years, we have been testing out a new way to approach the contract manufacturing market for medical devices. And today we're really excited to announce that we are ready to go into a full-scale launch, which means one of the things we're trying to do is lock down the regions or the headquarters and where we're going to stay. So it's very expensive to run this building, and to move it is very expensive to move our operation. So that's one of the reasons it's very important. Within the next 4 months, we have put together a financing package where we're going to purchase 2 other companies. One out of Denver, Colorado, which is a medical distribution, fulfillment, and sales company, and one out of Tuttlingen, Germany, which is a medical manufacturing company. Houses about 120,000 square feet, 140 people, and 300 some odd machines. A lot of that manufacturing we plan to move to Laramie. B Street will then become our headquarters, where we'll be hiring technicians, engineers, executives, mid-level managers. Most of the production that's done in Tuttlingen now, 60% of it comes to the United States. We'll be moving that into this area. So growth-wise, due to NDA requirements, I can't talk a lot about what we're doing, but it is extremely significant. Our model allows us to build medical devices and sell them directly to hospitals, thereby cutting their costs 50, 60%. We've proved the model over 4 years. We have investors now to back us, and we believe Laramie is a place we want to grow from. Once we've completed the transaction in the next 4 weeks, out of Laramie, we'll ship to 62 countries around the world. We'll have over 19,000 individual medical devices and 120 FDA compliant medical devices, which is huge. Putting us poised to take on some of the big guys in the market. So as an example, some of our competitors, Stryker, Synthes, those individuals, they're among the largest and most profitable companies in the world. We hope to take them on, and we hope to do it right here in Laramie. So B Street's extremely important to us. We hope that you'll consider what the team's going to talk about, consider some of our proposals and allow us to continue to grow here in Laramie. Thank you. Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm Gustav. I'm the quality manager for Disruptive MedTech. So it's my job to keep us in line with FDA requirements and our ISO 1345 certification, which allows us to be a manufacturer of medical devices here. So as we look at the second floor, there's a few things that we just need to work through so that we can understand. Jennifer mentioned there's some water damage to some of the drywall upstairs. I believe that it occurred during or potentially shortly after Medicine Bow Technologies occupation of the space. I believe those leaks were sealed, but the damage to the drywall has not been done. For us to move medical device manufacturing upstairs, we need to do some light remodel work. And so we've had the contractors who have been providing us quotes on that, include the repair of that drywall, since we'll be painting anyway. Makes a lot of sense, and we'd be happy to take a discount on rent to do that. So the scope of the remodel is to remove the carpet tile and put in a solid floor that's easy to clean. We need to keep dust down as much as possible. You don't want dust in your medical devices, as well as refresh the paint up there and put floor trim back in. So it's pretty minimal, but taking care of that drywall at the same time would be helpful. That allows us to expand our manufacturing production up there, assembly of medical devices. Also, the generator, we could use a little support on that. We're not sure what it powers. We've tried to reach out to some different entities and figure it out, but we haven't been able to get any electrical schematics or anything. As we expand our services, accelerated aging of medical devices and packaging, as well as medical media refrigeration, are key to what we do. And so having backup power in case we lose power to that building will become more important as we grow and add people and add services and bring more customers in. So just trying to figure out getting service history is one of the things that we're required to do by ISO 1345 as well as FDA, so that they know that that the generator is not posing any risk to our capability to maintain our quality and quality standards. Questions on those?
Commissioners, any questions?
So you haven't been able to find any schematics on that or on the building, which is the generator or the building or both?
The electrical for the building and how the generator taps in and what outlets are powered and things like that. We got one from LCBA when the lease was via them, but it wasn't clear. It didn't really cover what was covered. Electrical Solutions is, had been out one time. We did some remodel work, but they weren't quite sure either. And I don't even know if drawings of that building as old it is are still around. I imagine they're somewhere, but
Somewhere, that's it.
sorting that out so that we
Somewhere.
can understand what it does power or if it poses the risk, if there's any issues with the power to the building would be very helpful for us.
I can tell you the generator was added after the building was built. I think it was added in like 2011. The building was built in 2007.
I would talk to Tim Sullivan. And he was commissioner then and very active in all that. I mean, I'd be happy to call him, but I'll give you his number and you guys call him and see if he has any ideas. But he's very, very knowledgeable. Okay.
Or Jason, come on up, please.
So, Jason Tangeman on behalf of DMTI, thank you for hearing me. It is my understanding that your council has worked with you a little bit and moving forward with the document, the contract that we have here. We really have 4 sort of outstanding issues that perhaps I know from experience, it's really hard to negotiate a contract in the public setting. And we recognize that if we need to come back in 2 weeks to hammer this out, this needs to be tabled, we recognize that, we're fine with that. And so if that's the motion that happens, we understand that. But let me see if I can clarify exactly the 4 issues that remain. The start date in the contract, we would ask that it be June 10th. And that dovetails with some of the comments that were made by Gustav and Keith, meaning that we've got bids out there right now. When are we going to actually start to be able to do work to remodel the second floor per what Gustav was talking about? Seems like mid-June, but that's the request is June 10th. Of course, the commissioners, where you want to start, you know, we need the building. And so we do that. But June 10th is where we would like to start. The second issue is the generator, and the only proposed amendment I made was really a clarification in paragraph 4.2, I believe, and a deletion of language there because there's some conflicting language between 4.2 and 4.3. We understand that the county isn't going to be replacing the generator and that sort of thing. But there is language about annual maintenance, and there's a conflict between the two. The language that I proposed that I sent to your council, that as I understand she forwarded to you, simply deleted the parenthesis of relating to the generator. I believe it provides clarification. The generator there's some redundancy requirements for regulations for DMTI. So the generator is important, but honestly, they're just not positive exactly what it does for the building at this point. That goes to the schematics and just trying to figure it out. But the generator issue is not that big. And I just think there's some confusion in the language that's proposed, and I think what I proposed clarifies that. I've also proposed some language that I think dovetails with the original language of paragraphs 8 and 10 of the original lease that says that the county would basically give a credit towards the rent payments if there's some damage that we go ahead and bid and pay for and get it done. We're just talking about the water damage that Gustav referenced. We don't have a dollar amount. We think it's a relatively small dollar amount, but that's the language that I proposed in my revisions there that addresses some of the damage water damage that occurred. The final revision that we're seeking here is a clarification. And I think it dovetails with the purpose of the Wyoming Economic Development Act statutes. I mean, the purpose, big picture, is for the legislature to appropriate monies for governmental entities to become owners of buildings, lease it to economic development partners, and hopefully the economic development partners actually buy those buildings. Those monies go to the governmental entity, the county, for future economic development. Big picture, conceptualized, that's what it's supposed to do. And certainly I represented the original lessee of this property and builder of the property. Ultimately, they didn't buy it, but you get the opportunity, the county gets the opportunity now to have another commercial, a private entity come in, and they really would like to buy the building. That is the track that they're on, moving down the road here. They can't provide more details because they're still in sort of the due diligence, mergers and acquisitions process. But I will tell you that they really would like to buy this building once they move through this process. The language that I have added is in addition to, if the county went to sell it, a right of first refusal, but it's also, if they just make the offer, it triggers the process to get an appraisal for the fair market value, all of those sorts of things. That is the language that I've added to this, in addition to the right of first refusal if the county had decided to initiate the process to sell. And then the final thing is, and I talked a little bit to Josh Durrell about this yesterday, and when I was, and I don't want to get my arm sore from patting myself on the back, but I did one of the original applications for the program. And, at this point, 15 years removed, were there some details that you wish you'd have done differently? And yeah, people wish they would have done things differently. And in particular, okay, what if you don't sell the property to the original lessee? And who comes in next? What happens then? What's the purchase price? Sure, it has to be fair market value, but what is the offset that might be afforded if you go and look at the original lease agreement, the offsets for the purchase price in regards to economic development, taxes, that all these sorts of things in regards to the final purchase price. And so I did include language, and it's one sentence that says that in good faith, there'll be discussions about potential offsets in regards to the purchase price for economic development, which was contemplated in the original lease agreement with CBMA 15 years ago, and is contemplated in the spirit of the statutes today. So that's a lot that last part I know is a lot to perhaps sitting here in a meeting to take in. The first three I think are fairly easy ones. We would love to sign to get approval to sign an agreement today, but if you don't feel like it's ripe for consideration today, we come back in 2 weeks. I obviously would work with your council with feedback from you guys to reach an agreement, but things are good for DMTI, moving down the tracks, expanding as they were wanting to do. But this building's important to their overall expansion, and they would like to buy the building ultimately. If you have questions for me, I will try to answer them to the best of my ability.
Jason, commissioners, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions for him right now.
Yeah, so I have a few.
Sure.
As a non-attorney, I have to lean on some folks here. This is public monies, right? And right of first refusal seems to be challengeable by somebody else in the public who might want to buy this building. Don't we have to put it out for bid if that were to happen?
Well, let me answer it this way. The original development agreement and the lease was an exhibit to the development agreement. Did not have that legal challenge. We did not believe that had that problem. I believe that it only has to be fair market. You got to get an appraisal, fair market value. And it couldn't be sold to a private entity. I don't think that comports with the intent of the statute, because the intent of the statute is for economic development, selling to some commercial entity. So my answer is no. I don't think that is a legal impediment to a first right of refusal. However, I don't believe it's a legal impediment.
Yeah. My whole goal is to try to keep us out of the courtroom, right? And so answering those questions up front is always seemingly helpful to the process.
And per that question, I'm going to go back to my office and spend a little bit more time on your question, but I don't think so is my answer.
And then just make sure I understand the issues. The credit to the rent payment would just be to remediate the water damage, not to change the flooring, not to do the painting or any of that stuff.
Correct.
Okay. And then the generator language, my apologies for not being able to recall it entirely from last night's email that I read.
So.
Would we be on the hook to servicing and maintaining that generator if the lease went forward? Who would be responsible for that as your language?
So what I did was in 4.3, there was a parens that says excluding the building's generator. I deleted that. 4.4 simply says the county agrees to provide annual maintenance for the building's generator. Beyond that, the answer is no. That's as proposed. It had to be replaced, it had to be repaired. I think that's on the lessee, that being DMTI.
Okay.
It's been a little bit hard to evaluate and quantify that for DMTI because they're not positive what exactly it does in the building, what it powers exactly, because of the absence of schematics. And I will follow up with former Commissioner Sullivan.
texted you his number.
Oh, thank you.
Those are the questions that I have at this. I mean, and then it anticipates the same square footage cost for the following 3 years, if I remember correctly, as it would be. So I think it was $12.50 right now, and then it's $14 for this. What if square footage lease fair market value becomes $15, $16, $18, $25? So we're not operating really in the best interest of the people of Albany County. So how do we put that into the contract and say, or fair market value?
So we could bring JT Walsh in and talk about square footage values for commercial property in the city of Laramie. And depending upon whether we're talking about UW Plaza versus just down the street versus the Turner track, I think that locking in an escalator, locking it in, I don't think violates. One, it doesn't violate the law. Two, are you getting the best return? I think is part of the question you're asking me. I think you are based upon these valuations. These are not undervalued per square foot values, and they vary pretty wildly in our little town. I've come to learn anything is low. They vary pretty wildly.
Those would be my issues just as I think about it today. Jennifer, Jason, I don't know what else you guys would have thoughts about.
Yeah, I just have, just to say, I'm not ready to approve this agreement today, this lease today. I have questions for our own legal team that I don't want to bring up here, obviously. So I'd like to be able to table this.
And we'd be, as I said at the beginning, May 22nd or 21st, I think is the next opportunity we would have. We do it obviously with the time constraints and moving forward. We would like to try to get this approved if possible by May 21st, if we could. But appreciate your consideration. And I know from experience, it's trying to hammer out the details of a contract in a public setting. Sometimes it's just not possible.
Yeah. Any other questions, commissioners? Kayla, would you like a motion to table it to the 21st? Okay, I'd entertain that motion or some other motion, whatever.
I move that we table item 34 until May 21st.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Gustav. Appreciate it. 35, request for approval for the purchase of a trailer for groundskeeping maintenance at Beach Street from 1% allocation funding. Anthony, good morning.
Hello again. Yeah, it's more than just Beach Street, but be surprised how much stuff I move all over the county. Kind of surprised we don't already have a utility trailer, but I'm sure you've seen me behind public health multiple times, moving all that stuff out of there. And all that's personal stuff. I like to get one, for the county. Also, I think we spend over $900 a month for lawn care over at Beach Street. And if we had a trailer, I could just go over there and take care of it. It's not that big of a deal. That would save us some money. But anyway, I got 3 quotes, and I'd like to go with the factory direct trailers out of Cheyenne for $4,755. It's got a 10-week lead time to have it built, shipped over here. So I'd like to get the ball rolling on that.
I don't remember, what size trailer are you looking at?
It's a 16-foot. It's just big enough for the lawnmower and all of our
So
equipment.
is it double axle, single axle?
Double axle.
Okay. This is long overdue.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
Any other questions? Not an entertain a motion for 35, please.
I move that we approve item 35 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you doing this for us. 36, award the 2024-2025 County Commissioners Initial Scholarships. Excuse me. We have County Commission Scholarship that is awarded every year. 3 recipients, and then that can be re-upped for 1 recipient in the following year. We had wonderful applicants, and I really do appreciate the County Commission Scholarship Committee's filtering of that application. The recipients, so these are scholarships to any Laramie University or community college. If a person is choosing to go out of state that won the scholarship, then we will go through the alternate, first alternate, second alternate, and third alternate. And so I'll just read the recipients and then the alternates in order. I'm not sure that the recipients are ordered this way. I just think they're in the
I don't
first
think
3.
they're ordered because
Yeah.
all 3 of them will receive it, so.
Yeah, so the first recipient on the list would be Sam Kaiser, Catherine Eastman Curry, and Anna Sell. I really do. I'm super excited that we'll be able to invest in these young people's futures. The alternates, and these are ranked in order, would be Sienna Osborne, Carson Bush, and Michaela Alexander. Commissioners, any questions, concerns, thoughts?
No, I agree that these were incredible applicants. And I appreciate the work that was done by the committee. And I'm glad they did it because I'm not sure I could have decided and all. So I'd like to just move that we award the recipients and the alternates as named, as was read off by Commissioner Gosar. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Yes, sir, please.
What is the dollar amount of scholarships?
$1,000 for an academic year, so $500 a semester. And then they'll be able to apply for 1 more scholarship. Of the 3, 1 more person will be able to get it renewed the following year. Do we have a motion in a second? Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 37, make appointments to the Albany County Transportation Authority. We had interviews this morning. We have 1 term, which would expiration of May 2025. We have a 2-year, a one-year term, a 1 2-year term with the expiration of May 26, and 1 3-year term, which would be a community member with the expiration of 2027. The thought is that we reinvigorate this board, that not everybody will go off at the exact same time, that we'll have staggered the board.
I have a comment about this transportation authority. I asked each one of the applicants if they had any information on the transportation authority. Basically, they all had none. I spent a considerable amount of time trying to find information on the transportation authority. I could find the resolution. I think we failed the community in not providing more information about what this transportation authority is. So if someone had some interest, they couldn't find it. And so shame on us for that. I have another thing, is every single person that applied, and I have no qualms with any of the people, every single one of them was government employees of one variety or another. These boards need to have we the people on the board, not we the government.
Well,
So,
this was advertised, right?
So
Okay.
it's advertised in the paper and on the website, and it's just advertised as it is. We didn't have anybody inquire. If we did, I would have.
But there was no information to even create an inquiry.
Yeah, well, they can inquire with my office because that's where the applications are submitted. In the future, if you'd like us to, I mean, we can put more
I
information.
think absolutely on a new formed board, because you can't even find anybody that has been on it. And
Well, and I
so-
think part of this too, Terry, is that they're going to be creating more information.
Right, but you have to have that information to apply for things.
Granted, but it, you know, they
As long
have
as
the
you-
opportunity.
Say,
to
shame
find
on
out.
us for not providing the information on the website
I agree.
available.
I agree, but it was still open to anyone to apply.
It was, but I think it was slighted to all government employees rather than we the people.
I don't know if I'd go that far to say that.
I mean, it was.
Well, we didn't have one single person from we the people. They're all from government agencies.
And that was their prerogative, I guess, Terry.
No, I think it's because we didn't have the information out there.
well, this is a problem, throughout, right? We used to have papers that everybody read. That's no longer true.
That's why it should be on the website, Pete.
I'm not going to argue with you, Terry. I think we did what we always do with other boards and commissions. Now, you bring up a legitimate point and we will try to correct it.
That's good, okay.
This is why, a few weeks ago, we talked about a sign out in front, of the courthouse to be able to engage people with those things that are coming before us, because there is no real way that I can figure out, or that any other person that I know of can figure out how to work with people in their news and information silos. We're gonna do the best we can. You bring a legitimate point, we'll try to correct it.
And I would ask too in the future, if these questions come up, that they come to me prior to, so I could have.
Oh, I
done
agree with
something-
you.
Because I could have put something out there.
I didn't
2
know
weeks
that.
ago,
I
a
didn't
month
know
ago.
about it until I started looking at it last night when I
So-
noticed that every single person that applied was from a government agency.
Terry, had you received any, anything from the, community members about this? Did anybody call you asking where's the information?
No,
Okay.
because there's no
Nor did
information
I.
out there to know.
But just to reach out. I was just wondering whether somebody that you
And I
in
didn't get
particular
any
knew
inquiries.
of.
And the thing is that we don't usually put new boards or commissions on, but we need to pay attention to this because we did fail.
I agree, but it is helpful to know.
But there
this
was no
stuff
fingers
prior
pointed to any particular person.
Yeah, but it is helpful to have that information prior to.
Yeah.
But.
Right.
In the
Well-
future, we can definitely do that.
And we did approve this, right, in a previous open public meeting, right? So.
We did with a resolute, but
Yeah, I
we
hear
have
you.
too much stuff for people to try to keep up with.
I hear you, and we
No,
will
you're
do
right,
better.
Terry, we did fail.
My one question, however, this is a volunteer board, and just because somebody works in government does not mean they lose their citizenship, right? They have the opportunity to do that work and do some different work. This is completely volunteer.
It is volunteer, but every applicant was from government. And I think that's not right, because we need to have we the people on these boards. That's one of the
And
problems
again,
with the
Terry,
airport board.
The public was invited,
But their information was not there.
nor did these people have the information.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why I asked each one of them.
Okay, but the point still, Terry, is that
No.
anybody in the public could have applied for this.
But what we did is we cut a lot of people out.
Well, take that under advisement, and people who work for the government, are still we the people. They're still citizens, as far as I understand them to be.
But it's.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Could you just create more information, make it more available?
Yeah.
And extend or do a new application period? Because I was on their website this morning and I noticed that, I'll come.
Sure, please. Thank you. And could you give us your name, please?
Yes, my name is Walt Wheat. I was on the website this morning, intending to come here, and I was looking around, and I looked at boards and commissions. And I looked at the airport, that's what, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It's the joint Albany County, Laramie Airport Powers Board, is that something of that combination?
Powers Board.
Okay, okay. And I noticed the fire chief is on it. The former clerk of the district court, perhaps?
Clerk of the
county
county
clerk.
County clerk, sorry. The city of Laramie's CFO. Two other government officials. I'm an aviation fan. I could probably give you input from a non-governmental standpoint about how things ought to be at the airport. The Transportation Commission, I didn't know about it, but I also don't think it's fair that if there's no information, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna find the resolution creating it and see what it says. I don't think it's fair to ask people to apply for a commission that they don't know what the commission is to do. And I don't know that because I haven't read it. This is the first time I'm hearing of this. But I wondered why, oh, Bob Southard is the other person he's a city attorney. Why not have government employees or elected officials be liaison to an ex officio to a board of perhaps not as more disinterested than just government employees? I agree that government employees don't get the right to citizenship, but I also don't think that a person can be a county commissioner and a city councilor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
They've given up that. And so why are they able to do, you could literally have, for instance, this is interesting about our state. We have the 5 elected state officials. If you look at all of the commissions that they alone are on, it's amazing that they even have any time to do any state work because they are comprised of SLID, state land board, something of that sort. Aren't they the school construction commission?
I believe so. Maybe the overseas.
I'm not sure. But if you read the newspaper some, there used to be more information in the newspaper that applied to Laramie. Our 5 state elected officials are on numerous boards and commissions to where they have control over far more than just the departments that we elect them to run. And so maybe if there were more citizen involvement, you might have some better government. Because I don't think that just because you've been elected means that you're an expert on state lands. You may be an expert on the, what's it called? Secretary of State. You may have a lot of, but that doesn't make you an expert on all. But there are other people who that wish to have a voice. And unfortunately, our voices are only heard every 4 years. So if we don't like what they're doing on their elected position and all the board positions that they serve on, we get to say so in 4 years.
Just so you know that we do have a liaison from this commission on that board, and he is also a pilot,
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
Commissioner Gosar. So
right.
there is expertise as far
but you're an
as
ex official, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. In all of our positions here, when we serve, oversee the 7 or 8 or however many boards, we're ex officio, so
Right.
we don't vote.
But in the case with like the airport board, and apparently I don't even know anything about the transportation board. I just saw that this morning. I thought I'd be interested in that. I've talked with Commissioner Jones about the issue before in a personal conversation. Had I known about it, which may be my fault.
No information.
I mean, we put the information out there the best
Right.
that we can. Now, the added information in terms of the resolution, everything was not there, but if I would have been inquired, I would have given the
Right,
information
right.
out, but.
Because I'm the older I become, the more interested in government I am. And the older I become, maybe the more interested in serving I am. But I would not apply for a job as a commission, a position on a commission that I didn't know anything about. Or if you say, I believe Commissioner Jones said, that the commission was going to decide its own function, something of that, because there was nothing really. You might have been.
With me.
Okay. Will you remind me what you said?
I just said, I think with, because this entity existed at one time and then it was absolved.
Okay,
And so I think the point is to get people on a commission again
right.
and decide exactly what it is that they would be doing, what they want as far as transportation in this community and the broader Albany County. And from there, go on and build.
But the previous commission, I'm certain, speculating, that their scope and their function will be different than the first one. Don't you think? Because of changing, the world is changing. Different communication, transportation.
Different possibilities with transportation.
Absolutely. When was the last one absolved? Anybody know?
2018.
So in perhaps transportation, that's a lot. I mean, in 2018, not very many people knew what an electric vehicle was. As many as they know now. And so as the world changes rapidly, I'm sure that the commission is going to be much different than it used to be. Maybe not even recognizable, depending on their commission, so to speak. And so, but if there was not enough information posted, maybe that can be rectified and suspend perhaps the motion number, whatever it is, 38 or something, to name people and make a second round of people able to apply and be more forward in advertising it and asking for citizen input.
Okay, I have a question for you. Was there not a timing as far as forming this in order to receive the funds that were going to be going towards this
That I don't-
consultant?
That I don't know.
Do you know,
They-
Jennifer?
I know that so the creation is all statutory, and then after the board is formed, they create the bylaws. And as part of the bylaws, this group was reformed because there are grant opportunities through the city that can't be accomplished without having a transportation board.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's no timeline on when it has to be done.
I am not sure what the grant timelines are, so I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know that either. That's not, I wasn't.
I thought I
privy to
read
that
something that
information.
Ginny and Jordan had said that they were waiting for.
I think they are generally waiting, but I don't have any idea about timelines.
I mean, it's just, and the only reason that I even got started on this was because I read who were the Joint Commission for the Airport Board, and I thought, I know all these names. And so, anyway, I'll answer your questions. Anybody want to debate? Line forms right here.
Not in-
So that you know, all these boards and commissions are public meetings.
Right.
Anybody can come and attend and make a public comment
Sure.
to give any kind of advice or.
But I couldn't ask a person sitting on the airport board, I would like your commission position, please step down because you have other jobs. Right?
Right, that's
yeah,
what
right.
you ask.
Right.
You can ask, you bet you can ask.
And so I just thought it was interesting that all of the persons on that board all have other civic functions.
And I have to tell you, I mean, it was not that way.
Right.
Right. And we have paid for forensic accounting for years to try to figure out exactly what happened at the airport. So, there is certain expertises that those people bring to the table.
Sure.
Bob Southern's a lawyer.
Right.
That has been useful. Tracy is knowledgeable in accounting and financing systems in our community and in our county. Incredibly useful.
Sure.
Dan Johnson, Chief Johnson, Crash, Fire and Rescue is a world that he understands that not everybody understands. Right. Now, do I believe that those positions should stay in county forever? No, we had a big cleanup, quite honestly, a huge cleanup.
Still ongoing.
And still ongoing, the cleanup.
In the airport board still, we're talking about, okay.
Yeah, and so this world did exist, and I was, I think, the last liaison to the Albany County Transportation Authority Board, 2018 or 19, my memory escapes me. Hardly anybody ever showed up. And that was all public people at that board. We hardly had any meetings.
But like Commissioner Barra said, that's the people's choice not to show up. Not very many people would go to an airport board except people who are interested in aviation, perhaps aviation transport of freight or something.
Yeah. So things aren't, I mean, just a little history is really helpful to understanding where we are and why we're there. These positions, I don't know what Tracy would say about it, but they're not coveted positions. They come with no money. They come with extra time. And they come with a certain amount in the airport board's public questioning your ability, not yours exactly, but some people have questioned their integrity and their willingness to help an airport get back on its feet.
Well, I don't think I'm an expert in anything,
Yeah.
but I think I'm pretty reasonable and
Yeah.
mildly intelligent.
Yep.
And so, and to your point about the fire chief and you talk, or yes, okay, and the attorney, none of those persons have to be on the board to be able to provide the service that you mentioned. The accounting, the fire, crash fire, the lawyer.
Right. Nor can we require them to be staffing of that either. And so they don't have to be, and they can do it out of their own public interest and public good. And I suspect many of them would, but they might not too. And you would leave yourself with a situation that was, I have to tell you, not only from a fiscal manager's position abhorrent, but from an operator of a plane, dangerous.
I'd love to fly with you sometime.
Well, I would too. I just don't have a plane. So I think, is it perfect? No. Is it in a much better space right now? Absolutely. Is it because those people on the board took an interest and had a certain skill set? I don't think any of them want lifetime appointments.
Right.
I think there'll be a day we certainly transition back to what it would like to be as you would envision.
And with respect to the topic that we started out on, which was a transportation board, is it advisory board? Is that the name of it?
Authority.
Authority. Thank you. And again, also with the library, the airport board, if nobody knows about these, when a position comes up, maybe on the website, there could be something that says position available on the, like when you go to albanycounty.com.
You have to hunt. You really have to hunt.
You have to look for it.
It needs to be more forward.
Yep. And so,
Take those into consideration.
I mean,
No,
right.
honestly,
it's up to them to tell you what to do. So,
No, it's not.
actually, she's
No.
elected.
No,
She's
we're
elected.
all equal.
That's right. That's right.
I'm happy to do that, and if, I wouldn't know this stuff if it wasn't for public comment.
Right.
So thank you for saying that, and we definitely can do that. We're trying really hard for public outreach, and
Right.
it is difficult.
Sure.
Because if people aren't looking for it, it's hard to put it out there,
Right.
you know?
And I don't know. You said it's in the newspaper because you have to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I'd be interested to know what has happened to the circulation of the Laramie boomerang since it's become the Cheyenne boomerang.
Pretty bad.
And if that's the case,
It's still statutorily required to publish.
I understand. But if not, let's say the circulation dropped by 50%. Than what it used to be when you could get it in your house. I mean, at your house, in your front porch. That means 50% of those people are not aware of what's going on in government.
Right.
And I don't know, that could be a big number.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for your
Sure.
input. I really do appreciate it. Yes, sir.
My name is Eric Henderson and I host the Talk Shop on 93.5 FM. I realize historically that newsprint has been the legal way to notify the public. I would encourage you as an entity like the Albany County School Board to create that digital public service announcement email distribution list And in doing so, I would publish that digitally. I would also broadcast it. As it doesn't matter the topic, that's news. And that in this day and age is very important to us in broadcasting and in digital content creation and maintenance to have that. To do so essentially costs you nothing. In radio, we'll resell that opportunity for credit. This is brought to you by, and do that. You guys are a partner in giving us that information in detail. Just as you had a fundraising activity in a elementary school, if you give me the data and you follow up with me regarding how it went, maybe your campaign, how it went, what you did during your sessions, happy to share that information. That's all I have unless you have questions.
I do. So if we just send you.
Yeah, if you do an email, it's a, it used to be a rip and read off the AP or a rip and read, all right? This is the day and age where I don't care if you text it. If you want to do a text deal, I'm all about that. Just send out the media. I do not speak for Town Square, Appaloosa, or any other entity, but I would tell you the absence of public information like weather reports and job postings and all of that kind of stuff, it is absolutely silly and archaic not to do so.
Thank you.
And that's-
Yep, I think it's both gentlemen we have wrestled with this at our department heads and elected officials meeting for going on 2 years on how to make sure people are engaged with their government because the government is all of us, right? It's not
we is the government.
Yeah, it's not me. It is not Commissioner Rivera, Commissioner Jones. It is all of us in my mind, and so we will continue and
I will too. Thank you.
get that stuff out to Mr. Henderson and those folks, and then commissioners, what would you like to do with item 37? Is that where you're at?
I'd like to make the appointments. I'm not sure that we have any new applicants. It's hard to get people to want to sit on commissions and boards because it is volunteer. And I
But
know
it's
in the
even harder when
past.
they don't know it about it.
Yeah, well, I think it was known about, but maybe not enough information, and obviously not enough information to know what it entailed. These aren't permanent positions.
No, but I think that we should allow for reapplication with information available on the website so people would have an idea of what they're applying for.
Do we use social media to broadcast any of that? Facebook, TikTok, whatever, all that?
We don't. The county doesn't have, I don't think, a Facebook page like my office does, although it's the commissioners where this comes from. I could put it on my Facebook page. As the clerk.
Should the county have a Facebook page?
I don't think we do. But we don't have a public information officer, so I think does David do it?
Doesn't he post stuff on
Facebook for planning things? He very well could. I can check with David. One thing I could suggest if you'd like to, the 2 county representatives, you could appoint those today and you could put the community one back out until the 21st. If you would like, I can put it out to, I could send it to Eric. I can do more information. I'm not sure putting it back out in the paper is going to help, but we could pay to do that too. And I could see if David could put it on the Facebook page and I could make sure that I have all the information from prior on the website. Is what I'm saying is if you appointed the 2 county positions, you at least have an acting board so they could get started. I don't know if that is the pushback. I don't know. I
don't know if we'll have anything, but I think the opportunity.
And that's what I'm saying. We could definitely, because we have the 1 community member. So if you would like to maybe appoint the 2 county positions today, put the community member back out there, I can do all that I can do to get it out there and see if we can solicit some more applications.
I'm okay with that, just because I feel like something needs to go forward.
Super.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So
I think that's a great solution. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kayla.
thank you. Okay, Chairman, I would like to make a motion to appoint to the 2-year, to the 1-year term for the county with the expiration date of 2025, David Gertz. And to the 2-year county with the term expiration of May 2026, Anissa McDonald.
Were you making your motion that you'll put the community one back out till
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
21st?
And yes, I will. The 3-year term for the community will be put out again with added information this time on what the Albany County Transportation Authority will entail. And that will be brought back up to.
Is May 21st too soon? That gives it only about another. I mean, you could bring it back at the June 28th meeting.
Yeah, let's
make that a big meeting, but gives you a little more time that way. Or not the June 28th, not June 28th, the first meeting in June 4th.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
To be reconsidered, that 3-year term for the community at the meeting in June.
So the county, it needs to be a county employee that's on for the county, okay?
Correct.
That's what I.
Does the second agree with the change to the?
I do.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 38, present for approval, First Amendment to the contract between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Carver, Floric, and James CPAs for audit services for Albany County to extend the term of the contract and increase the cost of the contract to $48,880. Kayla, thank you.
It's an afternoon now, almost afternoon. We have the extension to our audit contract. It expired. And for them just to complete the 2024 audit, and then most likely we will put that back out to bid before the next audit for next year. But this at least gets us to extend the contract so that we can have Carver, Floric, and James do our audit that they've already wanting to start, actually.
It hasn't started yet, but I want to do, as I spoke in the elected officials department head meeting yesterday, some pre-work because with it being an election year and also now county staff helping with the elections.
Yeah.
It's going to make it easier come audit time, and maybe we can even prevent them from being on site. Because we've already uploaded everything.
Super.
Saving tons of time.
Commissioners, any questions?
No.
Not, I'd entertain a motion for item 38, please.
I move that we approve item 38 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 39, present for approval engagement letter from Carver, Floric, and James CPA for the 2024 audit. This is just the financial agreement and contract.
That is correct.
I'd entertain a motion for that, or if you have any questions.
I move that we approve item 39 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Tracy. Kayla, let's see. Item 40, present for approval, resolution 2024-010, resolution setting election districts per Wyoming State Statute 22-7-101. So I'll just read that.
Yep, you can.
Resolution 2024-010, resolution establishing election districts, precincts, and polling places. Whereas pursuant to Wyoming Statute 22-7-101, the Board of County Commissioners, with the advice or recommendation of the county clerk, no later than the first meeting in May in every general election year, shall divide the county into not more than 30 election districts. Whereas on May 7th, 2024, the county clerk provided said recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming resolve, Section 1, that the foregoing recitals are incorporated in and made part of this resolution by this reference. Section 2, that the following election districts and precincts and polling places are set for the next 2 years in Albany County. Election and district, precinct and district and precinct number all absentee polling place will be held at the election building 525 Grand, Laramie, Wyoming 82070. Type of equipment, voting equipment will be the DS200 tabulator. 13-1 will be held in Laramie High School, 1710 Boulder Drive, Laramie, Wyoming 82070. Once again, DS200 tabulator. 13-2 will be held at Spring Creek, 1203 Russell Street, Laramie, Wyoming, DS200 tabulator. 13-3 at the Laramie High School, 1710 Boulder Drive, Laramie, Wyoming. Same, all of the type of voting is the same, the DS200 tabulator. 14 will be Albany County Fairgrounds, 3520 US Highway 287, Laramie, Wyoming. 14-0, also Laramie Peak Fire Hall, 1836 Cottonwood Park Road, Wheatland, Wyoming. 14-0 Rock River Town Hall, 321 Avenue D, Rock River, Wyoming. 14-0 Sabile Wildlife Research Unit, 2362 Highway 34, Wheatland, Wyoming. 14-2 Slade School, 1223 East Shield Street, Laramie, Wyoming. 14-3 Indian Paintbrush School, 1653 North 28th Street, Laramie, Wyoming. 45-1 Spring Creek School, 1203 Russell Street, Laramie, Wyoming. 45-2 Lincoln Community Center, 365 West Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. 46-1 Linford School, 120 South Johnson Street, Laramie, Wyoming. 46-2 Linford School, 120 South Johnson Street, Laramie, Wyoming. 46-0 Albany County Fairgrounds, 3520 US Highway 287, Laramie, Wyoming. 46-0 Centennial School, 2771 Highway 130, Centennial, Wyoming. And 46-0 Harmony School, 20 Lewis Road, Laramie, Wyoming. Section 3, that the absentee polling place at the election building in Laramie will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding legal holidays, beginning July 23rd, 2024 through August 19th, 2024 for the primary election, and beginning October 8th, 2024 through November 4th, 2024 for the general election. Passed and approved and adopted the 7th day of May, 2024, the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming. That all said, Kayla, any changes from?
No, so when I advertised for our polling places, hindsight, I could have done this at the same time. I didn't. So I'm doing the election districts today. We did the polling places, but I added them all in on this resolution, so it's all in one place. But nope, it encompasses for the primary and the general for this election cycles.
Commissioners, any questions for Kayla? Not an entertain a motion for item 40, please.
I move that we approve the resolution 2024-010, resolution setting election districts per Wyoming statute.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 41, discussion on the removal of the courthouse front entry bill document drop-off container. Kayla, please.
Okay, so in 2020, during COVID, when obviously offices were not open to the public, we placed a big brown mail container up in the foyer for people to drop off bills, title work, anything that they needed to drop off, because obviously we weren't open to the public. When we built the new front entry, it got moved down to the front. I think sometimes it becomes more of a headache for our offices to have to check that all the time. I'm concerned come election time that people are going to try to put election mail in there, and I can't have that. So I would like it to be removed from the premises, just because I think, and I think Sheriff Applehans, oh, there he is right there, also stated that it's a security issue. Sorry, it's a security issue as well to have that there, because people can, put stuff in it that they probably shouldn't. I should not speak to him, to his security issues, but I'm sure that there are security issues when it comes to that box as well. It's not a statutory box. It's not anything. We did it for the public during 2020, but like I said, it's become, I think, more of an issue for our offices to have to check it. I think it falls upon Tracy's office and my office to check that every day. And we get a lot of city mail in there. So I would request that we remove it. I don't think it's utilized that much to where it would be a hindrance to the public to not have it. I don't know how much you guys pull out of it. We don't pull a ton of things out of it, probably more now with property taxes, but
this week more than probably any other time.
Yeah. But I know that you also leave a bucket in front of your office for people to drop payments if they don't want to stand in line. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to say. Maybe I'm just the only one, but I would ask for it to be removed.
I know that the city has a drop box outside of the building. I know people use it. That's a convenience and all. If you have something in front of your office, that's nice. We had an election 2 years ago. Was this an issue? Did you find election material being in there?
I don't think so, but to be honest with you, I was pretty much not involved in the election in 22, so I can't speak to it, so I don't know. I know it's a security issue.
When the Supreme Court security came and visited, they said to get rid of them.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that, just questions.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if I don't know that there has to be a motion. I don't think that there's anything. I would just wanted to bring it forward in a public meeting to know that why we were removing it. So I brought it up to the department heads yesterday at the meeting, and it didn't seem like anybody had any issues with it. So
No opposition that I heard yesterday. So,
okay, so we can have Anthony remove it.
please.
Okay, thank you.
42, set the special meeting regarding the budget for June 28th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Has to be done by the 30th. And
We like that. Well, we like to have our
Very last.
well, historically, probably until how many years ago, we used to do it in July, actually, at the first meeting, but we always felt like we should probably approve our budget before we start spending the money. So we've tried to do it on the last Tuesday. And is that a Tuesday, the 28th?
No,
It's a Friday. Yeah, the last day of the month. There are other things obviously on that meeting too, that people wanted to get done before, so that I know, like the policy handbook, so that we could make it effective July 1st. So there are some things that will be on that meeting as well, but I don't know, I don't know how many years we've done that.
Since I've been here.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I remember when I first started that we actually approved the budget in the second
Meeting in July. Yeah, and some counties do that, but we like to have it done.
That's a lot better to have.
yeah,
Yeah, agreed. So
I'd entertain a motion for 42 if there are no objections or questions.
I move that we approve item 42 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. That motion carries. 43 has been removed today. 44 approved vouchers for April 2024. I'd entertain a motion for that. 44.
I move that we approve vouchers for, what was the,
April.
yeah, for April 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Seeing no more business before the county commission on May 7th, 2024.